Joining us now from Grace Centers of Hope's education program is their 50th GED graduate, David Smith, joining us on the show. David, thank you for being with us.
Thank you.
Appreciate having you on. So first off, let's start from the beginning of your journey. How did you end up becoming part of this program with Grace Centers of Hope? What led you to Grace Centers of Hope and then into this GED program ultimately?
Well, first I got to say that I'm only here today by the amazing grace of God. Paul wrote to the Romans that we know that all things work together for good to them that love God and to them who are the called according to his purpose. But to answer your question, I guess you could say my journey has been a 41-year journey. To wrap it up kind of quickly, you know, I entered Grace Centers of Hope a little over a year ago, and the first thing I wanted to do was get involved with the GED program. And when I first met my case manager, I had mentioned to him that I would love to. I have a full year to do things, and this is on the top of my list, you know. So I spoke with him, and we got me enrolled, and we started right away.
And so how did being involved with Grace Centers of Hope, being involved with this education program, how did that help to change your view on life, but also change your path in life as well as, from just reading your story, from the age of 12, you had been dealing with issues with experimenting with drugs and with alcohol, and it caused a lot of problems. It led to a lot of problems in your life that ultimately this program was able to help bring some sort of clarity and path forward for you. So can you talk to that aspect of how being involved with this program with Grace Centers of Hope has ultimately changed your life?
Well, being involved with Grace Centers of Hope, I got to hear the gospel. It helped me develop a new worldview and a biblical view on life. And that was essential to changing my path, you know. Like you said, I've struggled for a really long time with substance abuse, and I never heard the gospel, and you know, I lived Christless for a long time, and it just opened up my eyes to a lot of different things. And Grace Centers of Hope saved my life through Jesus Christ, without a doubt. You know, I wouldn't have survived last winter had I not come to Grace Centers of Hope. I heard about Grace through the mother of my children, Jenna. Before we had met, she went to Grace Centers of Hope, and it saved her life as well. So I guess you could say it kind of brought our family together and our kids. And it's just amazing what can happen in a year, you know. If you'd have told me I'd be sitting here with you a year ago talking about this, I'd have told you you're crazy, you know. I've been very blessed, and I can't say enough good things about Grace Centers of Hope and what they've helped me do.
Yeah, a lot can change in the course of a year in anyone's life, and especially when you are actively looking to make a change in yours and trying to find some place that helps you find that direction forward. So for you, David, I know that this program through Grace Centers of Hope, their programs and then their education program, it wasn't the first sort of rehabilitation effort that you had put forth in trying to recover from your drug and alcohol issues. What was the difference with this program versus some of the other programs that you had tried to engage in previously? What made the difference in the programs you engaged with Grace Centers of Hope to ultimately, for you personally, help you along on your journey?
That's easy, hearing the gospel. I've attended a few other rehabs that were secular and that were only 30 days. You know, they do a lot of good things for you, and I totally respect them, but I needed Jesus Christ, bottom line.
So what is that difference maker there in your relationship with Jesus Christ, with the gospel through this program? How did that, how in what way did that connection make that difference for you? What really touched you in connecting or reconnecting with the gospel in this program versus in like you said, the other shorter form and more secular programs?
Well, I realized I wasn't alone. You know, my whole life struggling with addiction, I always had a deep emptiness inside of me that I was always trying to fill with drugs and alcohol, mainly alcohol, but lots of drugs. I had no hope. I was basically trying to kill myself through alcohol. And once the Lord found me, you know, it started, the Spirit filled me, you know. I realized that I'm not alone anymore, and that through Christ anything is possible. And that was just huge to comprehend. I'm still kind of awestruck, I guess you could say. It's I don't really know how to explain it, but it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, in any journey, especially one that can be, I would imagine, as stressful, as tough, as up and down, as a battle with addiction, finding that one thing that connects with you and helps you to motivate yourself forward in your journey, in your recovery, can be so crucial. And it's an amazing story to hear that in a year, your connection with the gospel, your connection with Grace Centers of Hope was able to help you recover in a way that you had not been able to realize in the past. We're joined by David Smith. He's the 50th GED graduate of the education program at Grace Centers of Hope, located in Pontiac, Michigan. More information on their website, gracecentersofhope.org. That is gracecentersofhope.org. And so you're part of the one-year life skills program through Grace Centers of Hope. Can you tell us about that program and how that also helped you to refocus your life and stay on that good path forward that you had found?
Well, it's a one-year program, and it gives you sober time. You know, you get up, you go to work, you go to classes, you learn about the Bible. It gives you kind of structure, and you know, I've always been a worker. You know, I've always been able to maintain a job, but the biggest thing has been the sober time. You know, it's I don't know how else to explain it. Just the structure they provide, and definitely the digital detox. Not having a phone, that was a huge help. I thought I really enjoyed not having my phone. It's a great program. You know, every program has its ups and downs, but I have to tell you that it saved my life, man. There's no doubt about it.
We're joined by David Smith, the 50th GED graduate of the education program at Grace Centers of Hope. Learn more information again on the website, gracecentersofhope.org. That is gracecentersofhope.org. And so you mentioned earlier that you do have a family, and that those close to you in your life had actually been through Grace Centers of Hope programs in the past as well, and that kind of helped to lead you to Grace Centers of Hope. So for your family, witnessing your journey over this past year as well, what impact has this had on them as well as on yourself?
Well, for my kids, you know, they're going to have a father who is committed to being there for them. I lost my father when I was 17, and it was terrible. And being there for them is one of my biggest motivators. You know, I want to be there to help bring them up the best way that I can. And if it wasn't for them, I may not have found my way. I can't say that for sure, but I wouldn't have survived last winter. I would not be sitting here talking to you. And I want my kids to have a dad.
Again, we're joined by David Smith, the 50th GED graduate from the education program at Grace Centers of Hope, located in Pontiac, Michigan, down in Oakland County. So now you are in another role as well, a year later, overseeing Grace Centers of Hope's book and music store as part of their Grace Centers thrift store in Sterling Heights. Can you tell us about your work there and how that's also helped to provide some sort of stability and something to focus on in your life as well?
Well, it's given me a job that I truly enjoy. You know, I'm surrounded by knowledge all day. It's awesome. I get to go through books, organize them, and sell them, as well as I come across a lot of cool things. You know, I get to pick through the donations and pick what I think is unique and interesting and kind of collectibles or vintage stuff I look for, and it's really fun. You know, I've never had a job that I thought was fun before, and it's helped me stay focused. And like I said, I'm surrounded by books all day, and I'm a reader, so it just kind of went together pretty good.
David, we thank you so much for joining us, for telling us your story, for being vulnerable with your story. I know for many it can be very tough to look back and to discuss what you've been through. So we appreciate you taking the time and giving us the energy to tell us your story, and maybe that will help inspire somebody else. Is there anything else before we let you go you'd like to say about your experiences over the past year with Grace Centers of Hope and this education program and your path to becoming recovering from drug and alcohol abuse and addiction?
Well, I'd just like to say to people out there, if they're struggling, you know, Grace Centers of Hope is a great program. They'll teach you something, and you might be surprised at what you find out. So just don't give up and hold on.
David, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.